Let's get this party started.
Coverage tight, spotlight on tomorrow. Who you with? Trust, you'll be delighted that you followed. At Phirst Contention, the invention. We debate sports, of course we should mention. What's that? We cover games, we don't play suspensions. We 100, so if your star's missing, we let you know your squad surely gone fishing. We never fish though, no, not our motto. We sport on deals, on court, on fields. The victors, the vengeance, the legends, latest invention. Phirst Contention.
Welcome back, Phirst Contention fans. We are back with another episode for all you guys to enjoy. I'm Ty Sosina, coming to you from a remote location, St. Louis Park. Joining us today, we have Marvin Banks.
Sadly enough, this is the last time you guys might see me here in the new chateau, as I will be moving to an undisclosed location as well.
Hopefully this undisclosed location has better background. Also joining us, Steve Davis.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Strive higher every day.
All right, let's get back into it right away. We all saw the game. Two games we'll be talking about today, but let's talk about the NBA Finals. Now, as we all saw, notched up at 2-2. Heat win tonight after losing the first game. D-Wade looking healthy. Parker not looking too bad. A little bad in the second half, but not looking too bad with a bad hamstring, quote unquote. Marv, what do you think is going to happen in this series?
Welcome back. Wow. That's all I have to say. It's like he turned back into his 2006 finals run against the Mavericks the first time. 32 points, played 16 points, I believe, in the fourth quarter last time I checked. And he's actually looking like the old D-Wade. I thought this was going to be his last year as his superstar starter was going to come down. I didn't think he was going to be the dominant force. I thought LeBron was going to go off maybe 40. But wow is back. I'm very surprised. Wow.
Steve, thoughts on Flash?
Here's the thing, man. You look at Miami, they always play well when their backs are against the wall. That's when Dwayne Wade shows up. That's when LeBron James shows up. I expect this series to go back and forth each game and go 7 games. And I'm still up in the air as to who's going to win it, depending on how D-Wade plays. Because to me, he still is the X factor. If he plays like he played tonight, Miami will win this series in 7. But if he exploited all his energy in tonight's game and he has nothing left for the series, then the Spurs are going to win this series. So that's my take on it.
All right. We all saw. All in all, it was a good game until the fourth quarter came around, but the game was hurt for a moment with all the flops. Where do you guys stand on all the flopping that we saw in tonight's game?
Man, I really hate flopping just to begin with because, you know, knowing the player that I was back in the day and just with football and just my mentality with things, like I don't believe in that whole flopping thing just to try to get, you know, a certain cause. Especially when you see it's just like an added part to the game now. Everybody is doing it to try to get calls, and it looks so silly, but the refs fall for it, and it just seems like a soft brand of basketball that is really kind of unattractive to watch, in my opinion.
Agreed. That Bosch fall was very unattractive. Marv?
Steve, you're the last person that should be talking about flopping. Let's put in your senior year at University of Minnesota as you was flopping around the whole football field.
No, brother.
Hey, we can show you numerous highlights of you flopping around the football field.
Never that.
I digress. Anyways. But, I mean, if you could get away with it, why not? It's not cheating unless you're trying. I mean, hey, if that's going to get you a championship, if Bosch is going to flop around like that and the ref's going to call it, go ahead. I'll take the $5,000 fine. What's that? 2 minutes worth of my game check? Go ahead. Keep on flopping.
That's fair. It ain't tricking if you got it. Marv, you mentioned Minnesota. Now, granted, there's been a lot of coaching changes in Minnesota since Steve left. But let's talk about another coaching change in the NBA. Jason Kidd famous Nets point guard from back in the day, took them to 2 finals, retires 1 week. Next week, he's their new head coach. Good move, bad move? What do you project for Brooklyn going forward, Steve?
You know what? I can't really project anything on the future. I see this as a right now type of move, just to try to get some type of camaraderie with Darren Williams and the head coach. To me, I still think it's kind of risque, just because Jason Kidd doesn't have any coaching experience, and he doesn't know the grueling effects of scouting and analyzing games and managing your players throughout an 82-game season. I mean, he understands how to play it, but I don't think he understands the back end of that, and that's going to be kind of testing it. Now, I'm just kind of skeptical about it. I don't know.
Mark.
So let me get this right. Jason Kidd plays the whole season, retires. Next week, gets hired as a head coach all before Derrick Rose comes back. I just don't understand what is going on in this world and what is going on in this madness. It's just, I don't understand. You cannot go from player to coach in a matter of seconds. From the person that you used to kick it with, now you have to run the organization. I think this is a risque move, especially now with Doc Rivers that's available, Lionel Hollins that's available, George Karl that's available.
Brian Shaw
on that team.
Good coaches.
And don't let me forget, the man that's been overlooked for numerous positions, as Steve alluded to, Brian Shaw.
Man, the Derrick Rose slander is real. But, Steve, I want to get to that because, I mean, immediately after you found out, you mentioned how Brian Shaw has been looking for a job for a long time, and Jason Kidd here hasn't paid his dues. You want to elaborate on exactly what you're talking about?
I mean, he hasn't went through the coaching cycle. He hasn't been an assistant coach. He hasn't even been a scout. I mean, hasn't been through the grueling process that most of these African-American coaches have to go through. Brian Shaw, Patrick Ewing. These guys haven't even had a head coaching position yet, but they've been in the league 5+ years, being an assistant, waiting on their opportunity, and they keep getting passed up. And Jason Kidd retires 2 minutes later, he's a head coach. I mean, I'm not trying to doubt Jason Kidd because he was a tremendous player, but I'm just saying the way that things just happen like that, it just didn't seem fair for the guys who've been waiting on that opportunity.
I agree. I would have to. I mean, you look at Shaw, you look at Ewing, you see him on the bench year after year, and people are sitting waiting for him to get a coaching chance. All right, let's change things up a little bit. We're going to go to the NHL. Yes, we are talking about the most watched Stanley Cup Finals opening game in about 16 years. Triple overtime, Chicago Blackhawks win 4-3 over the Boston Bruins. Marv, let's talk about the game and what you see happening in the series moving forward.
I mean, Chicago has a lot of firepower. Kane, Hosa, they have a lot of firepower. But just talking about these NHL playoffs in general, for a league to have the lockout season to begin with, and now to have the playoffs like they have, this is desperately what Bedman and the rest of the NHL definitely needed. What they definitely needed, because this was a dying sport within in America. A lot of the teams now are bankrupt, but now getting the casual fan more involved with the multi-overtime games and such is great for the sport. It's definitely a good look for the sport.
Steve.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially how game one of the series starts off in triple overtime. I mean, and it happens the same time the basketball game's over with, and you're like, what's going on with the hockey game and all this camaraderie? I mean, it's kind of a clash of the titans if you look at it. You know, a gritty city in Chicago, and then you got the Boston, people rallying around what happened with the Boston Marathon. I mean, this can be a 7-game series, but to me, I feel like, triumph and like camaraderie within the community always wins. I don't really want to talk too bad about Chicago. I mean, I like them, but I feel like Boston's going to win this just because of what happened and just what they're going to bring back for the city.
Okay. Mark, who do you think ends up taking the cup?
Well, since Derrick Rose made an appearance on hockey than he has on the NBA court, I guess I'm gonna have to go with the. I'm gonna go with the Blackhawks. I'm gonna go with the Blackhawks. I'm gonna go Blackhawks in 5. I think they just have a little bit too much firepower for the Bruins. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Blackhawks. Blackhawks in 6.
I like it. I like it. Don't forget, Blackhawks do have home ice advantage. I should say 10-1 at the United Center this year, and beat the Kings out in LA, which no other team was able to do. As I said, I love it. Marv loves it. I love Hossa. Marv loves Hossa. Chicago loves Hossa. So you know what? I'm not here to chip in, but I see the Hawks taking it as well. Lots of firepower.
Yeah, we don't do it for the Sosa. We do it for the Hossa.
Okay.
True. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Phirst Contention. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. We don't have an Instagram. But check us out on the other 2 things. For Marvin Banks and Steve Davis, I'm Tyson Sinnott. Signing off. Trays up.
Ride with Phirst Contention, that's full throttle in. We sport on deals, on court, on fields. The victors, the vengeance, the legends, latest invention. Phirst Contention. We sport on deals, on court, on fields. The victors, the vengeance, the legends, latest invention. Game face grit, like born for playoffs. Say it all in small time like payoffs.